I'll be back Monday evening. Don't wait up. My name is Alex. I'm 35, work construction management for North Peak Engineering, and I've been married to Sophia for 8 years. She kissed my cheek that Friday morning, like she always did before her girls' weekends. Same routine, same bright smile, same overnight bag packed with hiking boots and camping gear. But something felt different this time, though I couldn't place it. Maybe it was the way she avoided eye contact when she mentioned the campground, or how she'd been extra careful with her phone lately, taking it to the bathroom, sleeping with it face down. Little things that nagged at me, but seemed too small to mention. Have fun with the girls, I said, watching her load the car. Take pictures, she laughed. You know how Emily hates cameras when we're all sweaty and gross from hiking, right? Emily, along with Olivia and Hannah, the same 3 friends she'd been camping with twice a month for the past 6 months. I used to think it was great that she had found her outdoor group after years of complaining about being cooped up inside. Sophia had never shown interest in camping before our marriage, but people change. At least that's what I told myself. I waved from the porch as she drove away in her Honda camping gear stacked in the back seat. The house felt too quiet after she left, especially with our 5-year-old son Noah asking where Mommy was going again. I tried to focus on the Cardinals game, but my mind kept drifting. When had she started caring about nature photography? When had she bought those expensive hiking boots? I'd never seen her wear them around town. Saturday morning, I worked in the garage organizing tools and trying to shake the strange feeling in my chest. Sophia had texted once beautiful morning, about to hit the trails. No picture, though. She usually sent dozens of sunset photos from these trips. I told myself I was being paranoid. Marriage required trust. She'd earned mine over 8 years. But trust doesn't explain why she'd started doing laundry separately, or why her camping clothes never smelled like campfire smoke, or why she'd gotten a second cell phone last month for work emergencies that never seemed to involve actual work calls. Little cracks in our foundation, like hairline fractures in concrete, I ignored them, thinking marriage was about patching things up. Sophia had been restless lately, complaining about routine and wanting adventure. The camping trips started after her cousin Emily moved back from Colorado last winter. Emily had always been the outdoorsy type, posting mountain photos and trail maps on social media. When she suggested a girls' camping weekend, Sophia seemed excited about trying something new. I thought it was healthy, even though it meant I was left handling Noah's bedtime stories and weekend soccer practices alone. She'd been volunteering more at the hospital as a nurse lately, coming home late with the scent of unfamiliar perfume. I supported it all. Everyone needs hobbies. But as I sat there with Noah building Lego towers, I couldn't shake the feeling that our family life was starting to feel like a facade. I was cleaning spark plugs in the garage when my phone rang. It was Mike, my buddy from the concrete crew. Alex, we need to meet right away. His voice had an edge, the kind you don't hear from a guy who's spent 30 years pouring foundations and speaking plain about serious things. What's wrong? I asked, setting down the wrench. My buddy Caleb's been posting pictures on Facebook, and your wife is all over them. I'll send you the link right now. The link loaded slowly on my phone screen, but when it did, my stomach dropped. Sophia wasn't camping with Emily, Olivia, and Hannah. She was at a lakeside cabin with Caleb Morrison, a guy I recognized from Mike's crew, a slick-talking con artist who'd been fired last year for skimming construction materials. They weren't hiking trails or roasting marshmallows. They were sharing wine on a deck overlooking Lake Ozark, kissing in front of a sunset. And in one photo, Sophia was lounging in lingerie, laughing as Caleb fed her strawberries. The timestamps showed Friday evening through Sunday morning. While I was home, wrangling Noah's soccer gear and bedtime tantrums, Sophia was playing house with another man. I sat there scrolling through photo after photo. Caleb's arm around her waist. Sophia giggling at something he whispered in her ear. Both of them cooking breakfast in the cabin kitchen, looking cozy and domestic. She was wearing those expensive hiking boots I'd questioned, but there were no trails in sight, just a luxury cabin rental, and two people who weren't strangers. The evidence was piling up like storm clouds, dark and undeniable. I met Sophia 9 years ago in a hardware store. She was 24, a dental hygienist trying to fix a leaky faucet lost in the plumbing aisle. I helped her find the right washers, and she bought me coffee. We built something real together. I supported her through nursing school while she kept our apartment organized and our finances straight. When I saved enough to buy our house in Overland Park, she picked out every piece of furniture. We painted every room ourselves, music blaring, pizza boxes stacked on the floor. She was different, then honest direct. When she didn't like something, she said so. When she wanted something, she asked for it. The woman who kissed me goodbye yesterday felt like a villain from a bad soap opera, scripting her own downfall. I drove to Emily's apartment to confirm my suspicions. She lived 20 minutes away in a converted warehouse, paint-stained clothes and all. "Alex, is everything okay? Is Sophia all right?" she asked, looking confused. "She's fine. I just need to ask about the camping trips. The girls' weekends you've been organizing twice a month for the past 6 months." Emily stared at me like I'd spoken Martian. "Camping? Alex? I haven't been camping since I was 12. I hate bugs and don't even own a sleeping bag." The confirmation hit like cold water. "Sophia's been saying she goes camping with you, Olivia, and Hannah every other weekend." Emily's face went pale. "That's not possible." Olivia moved to Seattle in January for work, and Hannah's been in physical therapy after a car accident she can barely walk to her mailbox. Then Emily dropped a bomb. "Sophia asked to use my name last Christmas for some surprise party she was planning. I thought it was weird, but I said okay. I haven't seen her more than 3 times since I moved back." So the surprise party was a cover for her affair. But it got worse. While digging through Sophia's desk, I found her laptop still logged into her email she'd rushed out Friday and forgotten to lock it. The emails told a story that made Caleb's photos look tame. It wasn't just Caleb. There were threads with Dr. Richard Vance, her hospital supervisor, a sleazy guy with a history of harassment lawsuits. Sophia had been seeing him for 2 years, not 6 months, starting before the camping trips. She'd used our joint account money I thought was for Noah's preschool to pay off Vance's gifts and cover her tracks. The worst twist came in a spreadsheet buried in her email. It wasn't just alibis for her affairs. It tracked lies about her nursing credentials. Sophia had faked her certification, hiding a history of painkiller addiction from a car accident years ago. One email from a colleague hinted at a patient nearly dying from her misprescribing medication, a mistake swept under the rug by Vance. She was pulling a Walter White building an empire of lies while pretending to heal people. Those hiking boots cleaner than a politician's conscience, more used to hotel carpets than dirt trails. I called Harrison Wells, a divorce attorney, who'd handled my brother's case. "I need to file for divorce," I said. "I have photo evidence of adultery, financial fraud, and systematic deception." Harrison didn't miss a beat. "How recent is this evidence this weekend?" "Caleb posted everything on Facebook, and I've got emails tying her to a second guy and fake credentials." He paused. "That's either incredibly stupid or incredibly arrogant." "Both," I said. "Can you be in my office tomorrow at 8? Bring everything: screenshots, dates, financial records. If she's been lying this long, we need bank statements and hospital records too." I spent the night gathering evidence: Caleb's photos, Sophia's emails, purchase dates for her unused camping gear, her new phone activation, and credit card charges for hotels and restaurants that didn't match her stories. I found a hidden joint account with Caleb open 3 months ago, and cash withdrawals matching her camping weekends. I even checked our home security camera, Sophia sneaking in late with bags of lingerie and jewelry I'd never seen. The evidence painted a picture of meticulous deception like a blueprint for betrayal. And all the while, Noah was sleeping upstairs, unaware his mother was using camping as an excuse to abandon him. The deeper I dug, the uglier it got. Sophia's lies weren't just a 6-month fling with Caleb. They stretched back 2 years, a spiderweb of deception spun with surgical precision. Her emails with Dr. Richard Vance, her sleazy hospital supervisor, revealed she'd been his favorite since nursing school. He wasn't just an affair partner. He was her sugar daddy, bankrolling her secret life with gifts, designer bags, spa weekends, even a diamond bracelet I'd never seen. She'd tricked me into signing a loan for Noah's preschool fund, but the money went straight to paying off Vance's hush money and her shopping sprees. Those pristine hiking boots, they'd walked more boutique floors than forest trails. Then came the first gut punch twist. In a hidden folder on her laptop, I found a spreadsheet titled Alibis. It wasn't just for tracking her fake camping trips. It listed fake book clubs, yoga classes, even a non-existent animal shelter volunteer gig, each tied to hotel meetups with Vance or Caleb. One entry stopped me cold: pregnancy scare, Feb 23. She'd told me she needed money for an emergency procedure after a supposed miscarriage. I'd held her hand, paid the bills, and grieved with her. But the spreadsheet told the truth. She'd faked the pregnancy to siphon $5,000 from our savings for a weekend in Vegas with Vance. The betrayal wasn't just personal. It was a knife in the heart of our family, using a fictional loss to fund her lies. It was the kind of move that'd make any decent person's blood boil, the kind of deception that spits in the face of American family values. The second twist was worse. An email thread between Sophia and Caleb, dated March, laid out her exit strategy. "Alex is my ATM," she wrote. "He pays the mortgage, handles the boring stuff, and keeps Noah out of my hair. Once I've drained him, we'll take the kid and run. Child support will keep us set." She wasn't just cheating. She was plotting to kidnap Noah, our 5-year-old, to leverage him for money. The thought of her using our son as a pawn, abandoning him during her camping trips while scheming to rip him from his home, hit like a sledgehammer. It wasn't just immoral. It was the kind of cold, calculated evil that'd make a Reddit thread explode with outrage. Then there was Dr. Vance, the second villain in this soap opera. His emails showed he knew about Sophia's fake credentials and her addiction history. He'd covered up her mistake with that patient who nearly died leveraging it to keep her under his thumb. A quick Google search confirmed Vance's reputation, a disgraced doctor with multiple harassment lawsuits, now using his position to prey on vulnerable nurses like Sophia. She wasn't just a cheater. She was a cog in a corrupt machine, endangering patients' lives while hiding behind a nurse's badge. That kind of betrayal of trust of community of the healthcare system would make anyone in America seethe. Mike called again. Caleb took down his Facebook posts. Probably realized he screwed up. Too late, I said. I've got screenshots of everything. There's more, Alex. Caleb's wife, Laura, saw the photos before he deleted them. She's a wreck. Her daughter's battling leukemia, and Caleb's been funneling their money into gambling debts and his flings with Sophia. Another family torn apart, another kid caught in the crossfire. Laura's lawyer wanted to coordinate with mine, using the same evidence to bury Caleb. I agreed, feeling the storm clouds of betrayal unleash a tornado. Sophia and Caleb weren't just selfish, they were predators, leaving a trail of broken homes and broken trust. I kept digging, finding bank statements with cash, withdrawals matching her affair schedule, $200. Here $500, they're spent on restaurants I'd never been to, and hotels booked under her maiden name. The joint account with Caleb had thousands stashed away money meant for Noah's future. Her camping gear, still pristine, mocked me from the closet. Those props for her Oscar-worthy double life were about to get booed off the stage. By Sunday night, I'd contacted the hospital's ethics board, sending anonymized copies of Sophia's emails about her fake credentials. I called Harrison, my lawyer, to confirm the evidence was airtight photos, emails, bank records, even a recorded call with Emily, where she confirmed Sophia's lies. The police were looped in about the financial fraud, Sophia's loan scam, and Caleb's construction schemes. I packed Sophia's belongings, clothes, jewelry, that unused sleeping bag, into suitcases and garbage bags. I found a hidden suitcase in the closet stuffed with lingerie and perfume she'd never worn for me, and a second set of house keys I didn't recognize. The clarity was colder than anger, sharper than betrayal. This wasn't just a marriage falling apart. It was a house of lies, collapsing under its own weight. Monday evening, Sophia's Honda pulled into the driveway at 6:00 p.m. I watched through the window as she sat in the car, probably checking her phone, rehearsing her camping trip, lies with that bright smile she'd perfected. She looked relaxed, happy, ready to slip back into her double life like it was just another day. Noah was upstairs, playing with his Legos, oblivious to the storm about to break. She stepped out, fake camping gear in hand, and walked toward the front door, then froze. Her belongings covered the porch like a yard sale gone wrong. Suitcases, boxes, garbage bags, stuffed with clothes, all neatly arranged beside those pristine hiking boots that had never touched a trail. "What the hell is this?" she said, her voice sharp, as she reached for the door handle. I opened the door, holding the divorce papers in one hand and my phone displaying Caleb's Facebook photos in the other. "Your camping trip looked cozy with Caleb and Dr. Vance," I said, voice steady as steel. Her face cycled through emotions I'd never seen before: confusion, recognition, then raw panic. "Alex, I can explain everything. Those pictures don't show what you think." I held up the printed photos, Caleb's arm around her waist at the Lake Ozark cabin, Sophia laughing at his whispers, both of them sipping wine on the deck. Then I showed an email from Vance, calling her my favorite nurse with a date for their next hotel meetup. Lake Ozark. Not exactly a campground, I said. She stared at the evidence, like it was written in a foreign language. "How did you get these?" Caleb posted 47 pictures of your romantic weekend on Facebook. "Vance's emails were just a bonus from your unlocked laptop." I handed her the divorce papers. "You've been served. Adultery, financial fraud, and systematic deception. Kansas courts don't take kindly to that." Her hands shook as she read the legal documents. "You can't do this. We can work through this for Noah's sake," she pleaded, tears welling up. That's when I dropped the hammer. Noah's sake. Like when you plan to kidnap him for child support after draining our accounts. I've got your emails with Caleb Sophia. The ones where you called me your ATM and plotted to take my son. Her face went whiter than those unused boots, like she'd seen a ghost from her own haunted house of lies. Before she could respond, my phone buzzed, Dr. Vance calling her. I answered on speaker, catching his voice, mid-sentence. "Sophia, you better keep your mouth shut about the hospital, or we're both done." I recorded every word already, forwarding it to the hospital ethics board and Harrison. I spoke to Emily. I continued. "She was shocked to hear about all the camping trips you've been taking together, especially since she hasn't camped since she was 12. Oh, and Laura, Caleb's wife, filed for divorce today, too. Same evidence. Her daughter's fighting leukemia, and you two spent her family's money on your little getaways." Sophia's knees buckled, but I wasn't done. "The police are on their way. That loan you tricked me into signing, they're calling it fraud. And your fake nursing credentials, the hospital's already investigating." As if on cue, a police cruiser pulled up. An officer stepped out, holding a warrant for her arrest on financial fraud charges tied to the loan and Caleb's construction scams. Sophia's tears turned to sobs as they cuffed her, her camping bag dropping to the ground. "This isn't fair," she screamed. "Fair," I said, stepping closer. "You abandoned Noah, endangered patients, and tried to ruin our family for your own greed. The performance is over, Sophia. Time for the real show justice." I shut the door as the cruiser drove away. Noah still upstairs, safe and unaware. The house felt lighter, like the foundation had been freed from a weight I hadn't realized was there. Sophia's lies had been exposed, and the first wave of payback had hit. But this was just the beginning. The fallout was swift and brutal, exactly what Sophia, Caleb, and Dr. Vance deserved. By Tuesday morning, the hospital had suspended Sophia pending a full investigation into her fake nursing credentials. Within a week, they fired her after confirming she'd forged her certification and endangered a patient's life with a near-fatal prescription error. That patient's family filed a lawsuit, and the local news picked it up, Nothing stings more in America than a healthcare worker betraying public trust. Sophia's name became synonymous with scandal at the clinic, and she was blacklisted from nursing jobs across the state. Her dream of playing the heroic nurse shattered like the facade she'd built on our marriage. Caleb's karma hit just as hard. His construction company didn't just fire him, they sued him for embezzling materials, tying him to a scam that endangered job site safety. Those Facebook photos he'd posted to flaunt his affair, they became Exhibit A in court, not just for Laura's divorce, but for the company's case. Caleb ended up with a 2-year sentence for fraud, his gambling debts exposed, as he'd siphoned money from Laura's daughter's medical fund. The guy who thought he was a smooth-talking con artist was now just a convict crashing at his parents' house after losing everything. His digital trail became a noose, strangling his reputation and freedom in one fell swoop. Dr. Vance, the sleazy puppet master, didn't escape either. My recording of his threatening call to Sophia, combined with her emails, triggered a state medical board investigation. They uncovered a pattern Vance had been exploiting nurses for years, covering up their mistakes to keep them loyal. His license was revoked, and he faced multiple lawsuits from former colleagues. The hospital scrubbed his name from their website, and last I heard, he was selling used cars to pay legal fees. Poetic justice doesn't get sweeter than a corrupt doctor brought low by his own arrogance. The divorce was a clean sweep. Kansas courts don't mess around with adultery and fraud, especially with a paper trail as long as Sophia's. I kept the house, our savings, and full custody of Noah. Her plan to use him as a bargaining chip backfired spectacularly. She got minimal assets, barely enough for a deposit on a dingy apartment across town. With no nursing license and a tarnished reputation, she's working part-time at a call center, a far cry from the luxury cabins and designer bags she chased. Sophia and Caleb's fling fizzled out under the public scrutiny. Turns out their love was just mutual selfishness, not strong enough to survive the wreckage they'd caused. I posted a summary of the story on a local Facebook group, anonymized, but detailed with screenshots of the infamous cabin photos. The comments exploded. People were livid not just at the cheating, but at Sophia's neglect of Noah and her endangerment of patients. Caleb's gambling on a sick child's money and Vance's abuse of power fueled the outrage. Their digital trail, meant to flaunt their secret lives, became the instrument of their social exile. Friends, co-workers, even distant cousins cut them off. In a small community like Overland Park, that kind of public shaming hits harder than any jail sentence. Laura Caleb's wife and I stayed in touch. She remarried a year later to a high school teacher who loves hiking, real hiking, not the fake kind. Her daughter's in remission, and Laura's rebuilding her life with someone who values her. Noah and I are doing better than ever. I started my own contracting business, something Sophia once called a pipe dream. It's thriving, and Noah's obsessed with helping me sketch blueprints. I've started dating again, meeting women who are honest, no performances required. It's refreshing, like stepping out of a house of mirrors into daylight. Sophia's final camping trip landed her at rock bottom with no tent to hide in. She taught me that some people can weave lies without blinking, but I learned I deserve better. Trust isn't just about believing someone, it's about knowing you're worthy of honesty in return. The house we painted together feels like mine again, every room stripped of her deception. Noah's laughter fills it now, and that's all the foundation I need. So Reddit AITA for going nuclear. Or was this pro-revenge at its finest? Let me know in the comments. How would you have handled a betrayal this deep?